Chapter 757 Angel of Desire. Canute rushed to Feng Guangyuan excitedly. As long as Yang Xinxin asked him to do something, he would be full of joy. If he didn't even have the determination to die for his beloved woman, how could he say he loved her? Yang Xinxin had a chill on her face. But her ability was like that, and she had no choice but to adapt. Bailey Chongqing, Liang Yue, and Canute, 3 deputy captain-level combat forces surrounded and killed one person from Feng Guangyuan. The others were roaming around. Even if they wanted to help, the gap in level was too big, and the power they could exert was limited. At this time, what was Zhang Yi, the captain, doing? He leaned against the back of an abandoned container and silently took out a cigarette from his pocket and lit it. In the next battle, his ability was limited. Because the alien space was on the verge of collapse at this time, he could no longer fight Feng Guangyuan on the front battlefield. He had to leave, otherwise Feng Guangyuan would kill him at all costs. And there were a few people next to him. Uncle Yu, Fatty Su, and Xiao Hong practiced with them. The previous pirate team had been wiped out by them. But in this way, the remaining combat power of Tianhai City was weakened a little bit, and the combat power of the base was killed and wounded. Xiao Honglian looked at the Jinwan in Zhang Yi's hand and stretched out her hand to Zhang Yi. Give me one. Zhang Yi glanced at her and threw one over. Several men and a woman were taking a short rest on the battlefield, a little tired. If you leave, can they handle it? Xiao Honglian asked with a wisp of white smoke coming out of her bright red lips. He also needs to consume a huge amount of energy to escape from my space, Zhang Yi said lightly. In just over 10 minutes, Feng Guangyuan experienced countless deaths. And every death would consume his essence. Even though he almost collapsed Zhang Yi's space, he was no longer in his peak state. It shouldn't be a big problem for Bailey Chongqing and others to deal with him together, Zhang Yi said. But as soon as he finished speaking, a deafening roar sounded behind him. Bang! A huge shadow appeared above the heads of several people, and then a giant object hit them heavily not far away. That was the body of Canute. The huge blue shark incarnation smashed a terrifying deep pit on the ground, and ice, snow, and mud flew everywhere, splashing several people. Xing Tian couldn't help but say, "It seems that the situation is not so optimistic." Zhang Yi took a deep breath, brushed off the dirt on his body, and carefully looked at the battle situation on the scene through the container. In the battlefield, the surging storm was gathering, and he saw a red figure shuttled through the battlefield like a phoenix. This is bad. Zhang Yi took a deep breath, and his heart was lifted up again. Although Feng Guangyuan's power was greatly weakened by him, but it does not mean that Liang Yue and the other 2 can beat him, because these 3 people also have serious injuries. In the battlefield, Feng Guangyuan was laughing wildly. His team was gone and almost everyone died in the battle, so he wanted to kill all the members of the Tengu team. I haven't lost yet. As long as I'm alive, I can start over. Eclipse Moon will not be defeated. Feng Guangyuan's body was burning with red flames, which were the fire of karma that even aliens dared not touch. Once infected, it will be difficult to dispel like a maggot on the tarsal bone, and the only way to counteract it is to consume supernatural power. Bailey Chongqing and Liang Yue have been fighting to the point of madness. They know that they can't retreat. This is the last battle. The other battlefields are also paying attention to the results of the battle here. Zhang Yi looked at the crazy Feng Guangyuan and subconsciously wanted to take out the thunder and shoot him. But when he thought that Feng Guangyuan must hate himself the most, he gave up the idea. Even if I kill him, what can I do? He can still be resurrected. I still have to find a chance to seal him up. Zhang Yi checked the time. 37 minutes have passed since the start of the battle. And the support promised by Gao Chongkong has not arrived. He wants me to die and then come to pick up the leak, right? A sneer appeared at the corner of Zhang Yi's mouth. Gao Chongkong, who looks like a very perfect character, was born in poverty and has a perfect personality. But he has never trusted such a person. Because no one is perfect. If there is really one, it must be pretending. And a person who can always pretend to be a perfect person must be more ruthless than ordinary people. Blizzard City wants to use me to contain him, and he also wants me to die so that Blizzard City has to give him the credit for destroying Eclipse. After all, Blizzard City needs a monument to become an idol in people's hearts. Zhang Yi gave up the plan to wait for support. He said to the intelligence system, "Reconnect to Blizzard City." Received. The communication channel was reconnected. Zhang Yi didn't believe the headquarters, because there might be undercover agents there. However, if others didn't let him off, he couldn't let others off either. The Samsara team didn't arrive at the scheduled time. Gao Changkong has a problem. He might be Eclipse's undercover. Zhang Yi called Gao Changkong by name, not by code name. Zhang Yi's words made Zhu Zheng's eyes widen. You mean, Gao Changkong, the captain of our investigation team, is Eclipse's undercover? His brows knitted. This news sounded too incredible. What is the identity of the investigation captain? In Blizzard City, he is second only to several senior officials. And Eclipse is just a small Ronin organization in Neon. What reason does he have to betray? Zhang Yi said calmly. The iron rule of the investigation team is the concept of time. It was agreed to be half an hour, but it was so late for so long. There is only one reason. They are in collusion with Eclipse and hope we die. Zhang Yi couldn't be sure whether Gao Changkong really betrayed. This is just a guess. But one thing can be concluded. Gao Changkong is looking forward to Zhang Yi's death. So, he didn't mind throwing some dirty water on Gao Changkong. Zhu Zheng said calmly, "We will investigate. I will contact the Samsara squad immediately." Zhang Yi, now the enemy only has Fengguangyuan Run as the enemy. As long as we kill him, the mission will be completed. Remember, at all costs. Zhang Yi closed the communication, and a mocking smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. At all costs? At whose cost? Anyway, it won't be mine. Fengguangyuan Ren searched for Zhang Yi's figure on the battlefield. He knew he had to kill Zhang Yi. But there were too many members of the Tengu squad around, and Zhang Yi seemed to have disappeared, and there was no trace of him at all. Die, 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 all of you. Fengguangyuan Ren shuttled across the battlefield. His speed was too fast, and his strength was too strong. Wherever the red phoenix fire passed, the ground became charred. Swish! With a hand knife, the body of Sniper Qi Guangming was cut in two. Disgusting fly. He laughed wildly and rushed towards Meng Xiu, who was powerless. Meng Xiu's face turned pale. At the critical moment, Canute returned to the battlefield and forcibly blocked his punch. However, a huge hole was smashed in his body, and the phoenix flames burned his body, causing him to wail in pain. Chapter 758. The Beast Out of the Cage. Liang Yue and Bailey Chongqing were panting from the fight. Liang Yue's arm was disabled, so he could only hold the knife with his left hand, and his fighting power was less than half of his peak. Bailey Chongqing used drugs to forcibly improve his strength, and his body was also collapsing at this time. If he continued to fight, it would not take long for him to be attacked by the drugs, and he would die without Fengguangyuan Ren's help. As for the other members of the Tengu team, it was even worse. Even for the current Fengguangyuan Ren, killing them was like killing chickens. That speed, that power, and that red lotus fire that could ignore their abilities made them deeply feel the horror of the captain-level fighting power. Puff. Lu Yinghao also died, and his death was very abrupt. He didn't even catch the figure of Fengguangyuan Ren, and the world in front of him lost its luster. Zhang Yi, get out of here! Fengguangyuan Ren roared in the center of the battlefield. Zhang Yi heard it clearly from a distance. He frowned, but didn't rush out. If you go out now, I will be the only one to die. Zhang Yi had to keep a sufficient distance from him. Have you found the witch? He asked the team members. We've found it, captains. Yi He and Xue Miao stood in front of the body of 40 Minono Satoru, looking at Mayumi Takeuchi shivering in the corner of the container, with a sneer on their lips. Do you want to kill her? As long as Mayumi Takeuchi is killed, Fengguangyuan Ren will lose the ability to predict, given by blood. His combat effectiveness will be greatly reduced, and the Tengu team will have a chance to win. Zhang Yi sighed. Catch her alive. Don't let her die. Yi He nodded. Understood, Captain. He walked forward and looked down at the woman who caused the destruction of the Tenshin team, his eyes full of hatred. He punched Mayumi Takeuchi in the abdomen with a fist, and her whole body spasmed like a shrimp, vomiting a large ball of gastric juice. "Damn neon bitch." Yi cursed, and then stuffed a gun into her mouth to prevent her from committing suicide. Not long after, Yi and Xue Miao caught Mayumi Takeuchi. And Yang Xinshin was also brought to Zhang Yi's side by Hua. "Captain, what should we do with her?" Yi asked, staring at Mayumi Takeuchi. She was thrown directly to the ground like a broken sack. "No, I'm still useful." Zhang Yi stared at the woman on the ground, with a relaxed smile on his lips. With her around, it would be easy to deal with Fengguangyuanren. Mayumi Takeuchi was so weak that she didn't even have the strength to speak. She was already weak. How could she withstand a punch from Yi? "Xinshin, shoot her an arrow," Zhang Yi said. Yang Xinshin understood and manipulated the angel of desire to shoot an arrow of love and desire at her. This woman became her slave. "Now, tell me everything about Fengguangyuanren. What exactly should I do to kill him?" Yang Xinshin leaned over and looked at Mayumi Takeuchi and said. A layer of pink mist appeared in Mayumi Takeuchi's eyes. In her eyes, Yang Xinshin became the only person in the world worthy of her trust and reliance. She could even give up her life for him. He is immortal. Even if there is only one drop of blood, he can regenerate. To kill him, you have to exhaust all his essence. But at least let him die 10,000 times. This statement made everyone silent. Kill Fengguangyuanren 10,000 times? Zhang Yi's space ability cannot be used for the time being, and other people can't kill Fengguangyuanren once. Besides this, is there any other way? Yang Xinshin asked calmly. Yes. Let him kill himself, Takuchi Mayumi said seriously. The only one who can destroy him is himself. Fatty Su pulled his hair frantically. Isn't this nonsense? He is not sick. Why should he kill himself? Zhang Yi slowly stood up. He threw away the cigarette butt in his hand and stepped on it. I understand. Let's do it this way. Everyone looked at Zhang Yi in surprise. Captain, do you have any idea? Almost it's worth a try. Zhang Yi looked at Takeuchi Mayumi and smiled. If we control her, we will win half the battle. In the battlefield, Fengguangyuanren put great pressure on the Tengu team. In a short time, he killed 2 people. If it weren't for Bailey Chongqing and Liang Yue who tried their best to stop him, no one would have survived his attack. But in a flash, Fengguangyuanren suddenly felt that his vision had changed significantly.
Something was peeled off from his body.
He was stunned for a moment, and then he realized that he could no longer see the future. What's going on? Why can't I see the direction of their attack? It seems that there is something very important that I have forgotten. Fengguangyuanren thought for a long time before he realized what he had forgotten. He had a partner before who seemed to be called Mayumi. Fengguangyuanren. A familiar voice came from the air, attracting Fengguangyuanren's attention. He looked up and saw a face that he hated. Zhang Yi. Fengguangyuanren's expression became ferocious, and he roared to the sky. Then the whole person bent slightly, and after accumulating power, he soared into the sky like a cannonball. Zhang Yi quickly dodged in the air with a flying device. Then he raised the thunderbolt in his hand and aimed at Fengguangyuanren. With this, do you think you can kill me? Fengguangyuanren sneered. Zhang Yi's bullets could not catch up with his movements. After landing, he stood up again and wanted to kill Zhang Yi. But after a deafening gunshot swept through the air, Fengguangyuanren's body was pierced by a huge force, and the whole person fell to the ground. Before he died, he still couldn't figure out how Zhang Yi hit him. Zhang Yi stood in the air, bloody streaks flowing through his body. Mayumi Takeuchi's blood endowment was now bestowed on him. He could see the future of Hohenjin within 5 seconds, so he could judge his position in advance and attack. Hohenjin was dead, and his body was burning rapidly, preparing for the next regeneration. The members of the Tengu team seized this opportunity and rushed forward quickly, then took out a special spray gun from their bodies. A stream of white smoke was aimed at his body and began to spray. It was liquid nitrogen, which could quickly lower the temperature to more than 100 degrees below zero and could even lock the state of cells. This was the method that the Tengu team thought of to deal with Hu Huanjin. As long as his cells were blocked, perhaps he could be on the border between life and death and unable to be resurrected. Under the cooling effect of a large amount of liquid nitrogen, Hu Huanjin's body was frozen into a white ice sculpture. Chapter 759. No longer human. Feng Wandyuan turned into an ice sculpture, but before everyone could breathe a sigh of relief, a ball of blazing red flames rose up and melted the surrounding ice crystals. Feng Wandyuan was reborn again, and the idea of freezing him failed. It doesn't matter, just try a few more times. Zhang Yi was not panicked at all. Blood endowment gave him the ability to predict the future. Even without the blessing of spatial power, he could kill Feng Wandyuan. Only at the moment of his resurrection, Zhang Yi reloaded the bullet and shot in another direction. After he pulled the trigger, Feng Wandyuan flew there. That was where Mayumi Takeuchi was. The bullet touched his fast-moving body in the air, as if Feng Wandyuan deliberately caught the bullet. And his body was torn apart again. Feng Wandyuan was still laughing wildly before he died. "You can't kill me. You can't kill me." Zhang Yi looked at his falling body indifferently. "I can't kill you, but you can." Huahua came running from a distance, carrying Yang Xinshin and Takeuchi Mayumi on its back. The angel of desire behind Yang Xinshin drew his bow and aimed a black arrow of hatred at Feng Wandyuan. "You have to shoot him at the moment he reshapes his body," Takeuchi Mayumi reminded seriously. "Thank you." Yang Xinshin smiled. She aimed very accurately, and at the moment Feng Wandyuan reshaped his body, the arrow of hatred pierced his strong chest. "Hate yourself, Feng Wandyuan." Feng Wandyuan just resurrected and felt an arrow in his chest. There was no pain, but he inexplicably developed a strong sense of crisis. An uncontrollable, self-loathing emotion emerged from the deepest part of his heart. He widened his eyes and looked down at his chest in astonishment. There was no wound, but his heart was in great pain. He thought back to his life. He was born a bad guy since he was a child. He liked violence and cruelty. Killing stray cats and wild dogs on the roadside was his happiest thing. This cruel character was well concealed in front of his parents and relatives. But the longer emotions are suppressed, the more powerful they will rebound. The advent of the end of the world finally made him lose all his restraints and began to face his heart. The first person he killed was his wife, who mocked him all day long for not earning enough living expenses to support the family. After the first killing, it took him less than a minute to adapt to the trembling in his heart and become excited. From then on, he was unstoppable on the road of killing. Too many people died in his hands. In order to reward himself, he specially put on a backpack after the end of the world and began to go to the places he had experienced in his life. Then he killed those people who had grievances with him one by one. The elementary school teacher who scolded him, the neighbor who had a dispute with their family, the female college student who falsely accused him of peeping on the subway, the president of the company where he worked. It was a very thick death note. He called it the 100 people he wanted to kill after the end of the world. And he did kill everyone he could. In order to achieve this goal, he even saved the family of a dying enemy. When the other party expressed his gratitude with tears, he smiled and killed them all. At this time, Feng Wandyuan's chest was in great pain. He covered his chest, and it hurt so much that he could hardly breathe. He gasped heavily, tears in his eyes, and cried bitterly, "What have I done? How could I kill so many people? This kind of sin cannot be redeemed, even if I die 100 times. I'm sorry for being born as a human." Yang Xinshin's voice floated from a distance. "It doesn't take 100 times. One death is enough." She frowned, with a look of disgust on her face. "You dirty, stinky pig, cheap mutant pheasant. Kill yourself quickly." Feng Wandyuan has lost the motivation to live. His heart is completely occupied by a crazy idea: death. "I shouldn't live in this world anymore." After he said this, he slowly closed his eyes, and then his legs knelt weakly on the broken battlefield. "Just kill me." Feng Huangyuan, who had given up the belief in living, would be no different from an ordinary person when he stopped using the power of the phoenix. At this time, Zhang Yi had secretly injected himself with compound number 2. Under the effect of the drug, his strength was temporarily improved, and even the space that was on the verge of collapse was temporarily curbed from collapse. In the combat command center, everyone's expression was the same as that of everyone on the scene, and they all stood up excitedly. "Quick, kill him, and everything will be over," Zhu Zheng said impatiently. "This matter must be resolved, otherwise he, as the commander-in-chief of the Jiangnan region, will not be able to explain to anyone." "Command!" Everyone in the center stared at the screen with anticipation and some nervousness. "Okay, I'll help you." Zhang Yi opened the alternate space, and the sword of judgment appeared in his hand. Looking at Fengguangyuan Ren, who was kneeling on the ground and begging for death, everyone's eyes were filled with hatred and eagerness. Hate what he did. Eager, because killing him is not only a great honor, but also a huge benefit. Who doesn't want to get a captain-level powerful origin? This is why Zhang Yi injected compound number 2. After being backstabbed by someone in Blizzard City, he doesn't trust anyone now, even the members of the Tengu team around him. There is a difference in status between these people and him. Now that the task of encircling and suppressing Eclipse Moon has been completed, they have lost the basis for cooperation. Therefore, Zhang Yi has to beware of them snatching Fengguangyuan Ren's origin. But fortunately, other people are not stupid. Although they are eager to get Fengguangyuan Ren's origin, they will not take action at this time. After all, Zhang Yi's strength is there. Zhang Yi walked to 500 meters away from Fengguangyuan Ren. His steps were firm and slow. He did not let down his guard because victory was about to be won. A journey of 100 miles begins with a single step. He could not afford any mistakes now. After reaching the sniper range of the double doors, he immediately opened the 2 doors. Then, through the ability to pass through the double doors, he quickly swung the horizontal sword in his hand. Puff! Fengguangyuan Ren's head flew high up and then rolled to the ground. Everyone held their breath. The more this happened, the more nervous they became. After waiting for more than 10 seconds, Zhang Yi turned around and said to Yang Xinxin, "Ask that Japanese woman how to confirm that he is dead." Yang Xinxin looked at Takeuchi Mayumi. Takeuchi Mayumi, who had become her loyal dog, said frankly, "His immortality ability will be activated at the moment of death. Now that he is not resurrected, it means that he has not used his ability and is really dead." Zhang Yi thought about it, took out the liquid nitrogen gun, froze Fengguangyuan Ren's body, and then shot it to pieces. After waiting for a few more minutes, they were sure that Fengguangyuan Ren was really dead. There was no accident, and Zhang Yi was even a little disappointed. He even thought to himself, "I am so steady. If you don't make some changes, won't I look stupid?" This scene seemed a bit slow, so that the other members of the Tengu team were a little impatient. Although being steady is not a bad thing. But their captain, isn't he a little too steady? Chapter 760. The End of Eclipse. No matter what, Fengguangyuan Ren is dead. This also declared that Blizzard City's battle against Eclipse Moon has won. A fierce cheer broke out at the scene. All the members of the Tengu team had tears in their eyes, and they excitedly looked up to the sky and shouted like crying and laughing. For this moment, they have been suppressed for too long. It also made them bear too much pressure. The combat command center also broke out in excited cheers. Zhu Zheng, who always looks serious on weekdays, showed a relaxed smile and fell steadily on the chair. Zhang Yi, this kid, finally didn't disappoint me. The guard's son Luxuan behind him adjusted his old-fashioned glasses, with a speechless expression on his face, thinking in his heart, "It seems that from the beginning, you didn't expect him to perform like this, right?" He turned his head to look at the big screen, and Zhang Yi picked up Fengguangyuan Ren's head. Son Luxuan couldn't help but raise a smile at the corner of his mouth and nodded secretly. This kid is indeed a good candidate. His potential may be even greater than that of several investigation captains in Blizzard City. Lan Xinqing smiled and walked to Zhu Zheng, bowed and congratulated him. "Congratulations, General Zhu. Under your leadership, the Jiangnan region successfully annihilated the invading enemy, demonstrating the strong strength of our Jiangnan region. I believe that after this battle, it will surely deter the scoundrels in other regions and make them dare not have any contempt for the Jiangnan region. Zhu Zheng was in a good mood at this time. Hearing Lan Xinqing's words made him feel much better. But he has not fallen to the point of arrogance. Suddenly, he thought of something. Just now Zhang Yi said something to me. He said that Gao Changkong is the undercover in Blizzard City. Zhu Zheng frowned. Why did Zhang Yi say this? Gao Changkong, he has no reason to cooperate with Eclipse. That sentence was originally just a diversion and dirty talk by Zhang Yi. In fact, he did not have any evidence. But in the dark, Zhang Yi did realize something. He was sure of one thing. Gao Changkong did not come to support as agreed. There must be some problems. He just exaggerated and fed back the problem to Zhu Zheng. This made Zhu Zheng start to pay attention to this aspect. Lan Xinqing was also puzzled. Zhang Yi suddenly said this, without any evidence. But the Samsara team did nothing in this operation. Zhu Zheng touched his chin and thought for a while, and said, "Help me contact the Samsara team immediately. In addition, let Zhang Yi and others rest where they are and don't rush back. They have fought such a hard battle and must be very tired." It just so happens that Tianhai City is Zhang Yi's hometown, so it's not bad to let him rest there. Lan Xinqing praised, "Yes, Zhu Shuai. You are really considerate of your subordinates." After that, he immediately asked the staff to contact Gao Changkong. This is very easy to do. The members of the Samsara team all carry monitoring equipment on their bodies, which can observe their position in real time. At this time, the members of the Samsara team are all on the plane. According to the nebula system, they are about to arrive in Tianhai City. Lan Xinqing showed a mocking expression. He was somewhat repulsive to Gao Changkong's Samsara team. Because Gao Changkong was born in District E of Blizzard City, his team members were basically all from the lower class. This was completely different from Lan Xinqing, who was born in an aristocratic family. Even though they became members of the investigation team, Lan Xinqing did not really think that they were equal to Lan Xinqing in his heart. This was the arrogance from the class. And this time, seeing that Gao Changkong's Samsara team had done nothing and would definitely be defeated when they returned, Lan Xinqing naturally had some jokes in his heart. He even thought about how to ridicule Gao Changkong after he returned to Blizzard City. Soon, the communication was connected. Zhu Zheng personally talked to Gao Changkong. "Hey, King of the Wheel. You don't have to go to Tianhai City. Come back to Blizzard City. Zhang Yi and the others have completed the mission." After hearing Zhu Zheng's words, Gao Changkong's face flashed with a look of surprise. But soon, his face returned to calm, revealing a plain smile. "It's really unexpected, but it's also a huge surprise." Zhu Zheng said lightly, "You can come back directly. Although you didn't run into Eclipse this time, you've worked hard. You can have a good rest this time." Gao Changkong smiled and said, "Yes, we'll be back soon." Right away. The two ended the call. Gao Changkong looked at the members of the Samsara team beside him and conveyed Zhu Zheng's words with a smile. Everyone showed a stunned expression. Ji Yushin's eyes condensed. That alien from the outer city, he actually killed Fengwangyuanren? Is his strength that strong? Gao Changkong smiled and nodded. All of us have been deceived by him. That man hid too deeply. Even the entire Jiangnan region was kept in the dark by him. If it weren't for Eclipse and the Tianlong pirates joining forces, I'm afraid they wouldn't be able to force out his true strength. Hiss, it's really scary. Gao Changkong turned on the communicator and tried to contact Zhang Yi. I have to say congratulations to him. At this time, Zhang Yi was holding the head of Fengwangyuanren. The origin will quickly dissipate with the death of the alien, so he must absorb it as soon as possible. And in his current state, even if he absorbs the origin of Fengwangyuanren, there will be no adverse reactions in his body. So he started the absorption process in front of everyone. He must restore his strength as soon as possible. It is still unclear who the traitor in Blizzard City is. Now that he has eliminated Eclipse Moon, he is no longer of use to many people in Blizzard City, and they may be attacked by surprise. At this time, Gao Changkong's call request came from the communicator. Zhang Yi frowned immediately. After thinking for a moment, he connected the communication over there. Chaos. King of the Wheel. Congratulations on completing this significant mission. From now on, you will become a hero for the entire Jiangnan region. While absorbing the power of Fingguangyuan Ren, Zhang Yi responded lightly, "It's just a false name. It doesn't matter to me." His eyes were very sharp. Gao Changkong was also on his list of suspects. "But you are late." Gao Changkong was 7 minutes late, but for a captain of an investigation team, there should not be such a degree of mistake. Gao Changkong smiled. He did not answer the question, but looked out the window leisurely. The huge walls of Blizzard City stand in rows, layer after layer, dividing the entire city into strictly hierarchical areas. "I admire you. At least we have proved that ordinary people like us are no worse than any so-called noble people, right?" Chapter 761. No one has ever been born high and mighty. After Gao Changkong finished his meaningless words, he ended the call. But Zhang Yi's pupils shrank suddenly. No, 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 no. Gao Changkong's words made him feel creepy. For some reason, he was keenly aware of something. Something big must have happened. His left hand grabbed Fingguangyuan Ren's head and was madly absorbing his source power. As expected of a captain, Fingguangyuan Ren's source is very strong. The feeling of that power pouring into his body made Zhang Yi feel comfortable all over. Even his space that was close to collapse was repairing rapidly. Perhaps because of the absorption of Fingguangyuan Ren's source, the supernatural toxins, that is, the power of the karmic fire, that he left in the different space began to slowly dissipate. However, Zhang Yi had no time to be surprised. He seemed to have caught something, as if he had found a thread in a messy ball of wool. His tone is so strange. It's not something a smooth-talking person would say. According to his past style of doing things, he would definitely congratulate me instead of being so perfunctory. When a person's temperament suddenly changes, it is either because he has experienced a major blow in life, or... Zhang Yi raised his head abruptly, and his pupils shrank slightly under the white light of ice and snow. He has torn off his long-standing disguise and revealed his true colors. But what exactly is Gao Changkong going to do? Kill him? Zhang Yi frowned, not thinking that Gao Changkong would do that. That would be meaningless. Even if he killed Zhang Yi, the credit would not belong to him. And he would completely break with the Jiangnan region. Zhang Yi couldn't guess what was wrong with Gao Changkong, but he now suspected that the eclipse incident was related to Gao Changkong. This was just an instinctive intuition. But he still chose to contact Blizzard City immediately and told Zhu the news. Gao Changkong gives me a feeling that something is not right. He may be related to Eclipse Moon. If you have time, you'd better investigate it. Zhu frowned. Okay, we will definitely investigate this matter thoroughly. It has been confirmed that someone inside Blizzard City is in collusion with Eclipse Moon. But it is still too early to make a rash conclusion about who it is. At this moment, Yang Xinxin rode Huahua to Zhang Yi's side. "Brother Zhang Yi, is there such a possibility?" She tilted her head and looked at Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi raised his head and looked at her. "Xinxin, what did you guess?" Yang Xinxin said slowly, "You are in Tianhai City. Tu Yunlai led the Yanyan Guard in Huazhou City, and the Samsara Squadron went to Linhai City. The defense of Blizzard City is the weakest now. Will something happen inside Blizzard City? Will it be related to the Samsara Squadrons?" The call between Zhang Yi and Zhu has not ended yet, and these words were heard clearly by Zhu. But Zhu said, "They're still in the sky above Tianhai City, so they can't have such thoughts. Blizzard City is a solid block, and any problem will be easily resolved by us. You don't have to worry too much." But before Zhu finished speaking, there was a violent explosion during the call, which made Zhang Yi's eardrums hurt. The communication between him and Zhu was interrupted. Sometimes, I often wonder why those big shots can always be high above and decide the life and death of others. Later I figured it out. It's power. Power is the supreme thing. Money, reputation, wealth are worthless in front of power. Gao Changkong said to the members of the Samsara team while loading his gun with bullets. "In the past, I worked hard in the field of basketball for so many years, and I was successful and won countless honors. They called me a hero. But a hero like me, after the end of the world, I can't even get a chance to live for my parents in Blizzard City. Gao Changkong looked at the huge black building outside and narrowed his eyes slightly. From then on, I began to understand what a hero is. A hero is nothing in front of power. Justice must be fought for with our fists. I thought about using peaceful methods to climb up, gain status, and then change this unfair world. But they didn't even give me such a chance. So now, I can only talk to them in my own ways. The alloy door in front of him slowly opened. At this time, the members of the Samsara team came out one by one. They were wearing combat uniforms and standing in front of the building of the Combat Command Center. The guards at the door saw them and saluted with a smile. "Captain Gao, you are back so soon. Did you triumph over the mission? I knew there would be no mission you couldn't complete." Facing the enthusiastic guards, Gao Changkong walked over with a smile. Although they were all armed with live ammunition and dressed in combat uniforms, no one stopped them. Because the Samsara Squad is the hero of Blizzard City. Who would suspect their patron saint? But this matter is a bit strange after all. Shouldn't the Samsara Squad be in Linhai City, hundreds of kilometers away? How could they suddenly appear here? The security guards downstairs thought about it and reported the news to the higher-ups. After Lan Xinqing got the news, he was dumbfounded.
What did you say?
The people from the Samsara Squad appeared in the command center. Zhu Zheng also stood up in surprise. Samsara Squad? Aren't they still in the sky, above Tianhai City? How could they appear here? Some staff had already called up the surveillance on the first floor. Indeed, it was the members of the Samsara Squad. Led by Gao Changkong, a total of 9 team members were there. Only one person was missing. Why are they here? What is going on? Zhu Zheng suddenly thought of Zhang Yi's warning. The Samsara Squad may have betrayed Blizzard City. Lan Xinqing's forehead was covered with cold sweat. The missing person is Qin Shaojing, whose ability code name is Chameleon. He can perfectly disguise himself as anything. Zhu Zheng gritted his teeth and shouted, "Oh no! The guys who went to Linhai City are all fake. The real Samsara Squad has never left Blizzard City since the beginning. Yes, the people of the Samsara Squad have always been here and have never left. The only ones who left are the Tengu Squad and the Yanyan Elite led by Tu Yanlai. There is no need to doubt what they want to do at this time." Zhu Zheng immediately shouted, "Don't let them come up. Immediately turn on the building's security system and order the guards of the whole city to come to support." The walls of the entire building were immediately wrapped with a thick layer of special metal plates. At the same time, the corridors and stairs on each floor were separated by dozens of heavy metal doors. The red alarms sounded harshly. The Combat Command Center has the highest level of defense. As long as it is fully turned on, even if a high-level alien attacks, it is impossible to break through in a short time. This video ends here. It was not story. If you want to keep getting latest episode, then kindly help me with subscribing to the channel. Thanks.